The timing is always good. I've been trying to get rid of those ducks for so long, and it's just at this particular moment that I get a phone call to talk about ducks and what can be done with them and what can't be done with them. So I do apologise for those of you who thought that I was not going to come. I wasn't going to show up. It's just weird. And the sound seems to be coming through fine, so we'll get rid of that. And look, today we are painting a miniature. Going to continue on our journey. My journey is to complete this thing, and it will happen. So you will find the start time down in the description, so you can get past all of my waffle and my sort of setup, and generally just bollocking around. You know what I'm like. You know what I'm like. It's a live stream. You've got to give people time to get in. They've had plenty of time now. So anyway, now normally with my live streams I present everything first and then open it up for questions and answers. That's really not the format for today. Today it is just me sitting down and trying to get my head around how to paint the Xanathar Beholder miniature that I got from Gale Force 9. So that is what we'll do. So I'll do my little intro and then we'll get straight into the job. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm going to continue my journey. This is part 2 as I take my journey to try and complete the painting of Xanathar, the Beholder. This is the special limited edition miniature that you can get from Gale Force 9, who were kind enough to send it to me, and I thought, well, yes, absolutely, I want to definitely paint that. And it's taken me ages to get to that point. I've taken quite a lot of time to actually prepare and assemble it. Yesterday I actually started painting it, and today is day 2, and it could be the end of the job, or it might wind up being day 2 followed by a day 3. I'm not going to say that it's going to be anything other than I'll do as the best I possibly can. That's the plan. Okay, so I have a bit of a predicament. I was having a look at this thing and I was like, I have an issue. I like the purple, but I also feel like Xanathar should be blue. And then I was sitting here and thinking, I don't think it just needs to be blue or purple. I feel like it needs to be purple and blue. But I don't know if the combination is going to just make it look wacky. So, you know me, I am probably going to do that. So, how's it going, Darren? Hi, Matt. Chris, how's it going, Chris? Save or die. Hello. Hi, how's it going, Scott? Make sure, I don't know whether you guys are probably at work, okay? I totally understand that. Just hang around and chat with me for a little while. I've got plenty to talk about as it happens. I've been doing lots of different things. Okay, so let's get started. So what I was looking, to be honest, I really feel like it should be purple and blue. And so I had selected some blues to go with my purple. Since I pretty much purpleized the thing, I've already done that yesterday. So I've got these, and I feel like these are blues that could work really nicely. In particular, how's it going, Chris? Both colours would be great. I think that's the way to go, eh? I really felt, I couldn't understand why it was such a problem for me, but I feel like both colours need to be in there somewhere. And it needs to be sort of like a little bit patchwork in some way. F-Hubber, set reminder and timer, YouTube reminder, fail. Timer 4 minutes off. Yep, well, I totally understand. There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing. Okay, so this is underdark indigo. I'm actually going to use the underdark indigo, and I'm going to use this frost blue color. And this lighter color, this ghostly blue, I'm going to use later on for highlighting. I think that is what I would want to do. I also have another purple, which I'm actually very tempted to sort of patch paint on, because there's two of these things. There's the purple worm I was using, and there's also the Beholder purple, which is a lighter color. So I thought what I would do is I would paint some of the other areas that I want to be painted purple a slightly different color. So color scheme is purples and blues, and we'll see how we go from there. That's the plan. Okay, so let us just get on with this, because I'm fluffing around too much and just doing a lot of talking. You guys are used to me talking too much anyway. All right, let's give it a good shake. So just to catch you up on the situation, the duck situation, the council just rang me. That's why I was late getting into the live stream and informed me that there's not much they can do about the ducks. They can certainly approach the landlord and see if they can't do something about the ducks that way. Well, that's good news. That's something, I guess. My only issue, I think, is going to be that this could take a very long time. So, yes, if you ever find yourself in a situation where there are a lot of ducks involved, my suggestion to you is panic. Just panic. If your neighbour gets ducks, just absolutely panic. That's my suggestion. Okay, so this is a lighter purple, which I'm feeling like the back section is going to be more purple than anything else. And that's actually bringing it out quite nicely. So we'll do that. And I think now yes, we'll just look. We're going to just be a bit aggressive with this. I am just banging it on. I can actually see what I'm doing. Yesterday, I don't know what it was. Light just went really wacky on me, and after a while, I just could not see anything whatsoever. I guess maybe my eyes are just getting old and tired. All right. So what's that? The duck solution. What is it? Duck solution. Duck a la orange. Yeah, I was tempted to capture the ducks, make the ducks no longer moving, and then eat the ducks. But I'm told that's not something that I really should be doing, because I could get into trouble for that as well. It is annoying. It is an annoying situation, I have to say. Darren, I'll take ducks over grizzly bears, Fred. Well, I totally understand. If you had grizzly bears, I at least the duck doesn't eat you, right? Whereas the grizzly bear is going to potentially eat you. Do they eat you? Or do they just maul you? I feel like they probably have a bit of a snack. Is a bear a snacking kind of animal? Get a fox. There's no such thing as a fox in New Zealand. If we had foxes, we'd have no birds in this country. They would have eaten them all. This country really isn't designed for anything but birds. And I'm talking about the flying birds, not the other ones. Anyway, so it could take a little while. Just don't get caught. Look, there's no way I can't get caught. I'm in a township. This is a township. It's not in the country where there's a farm. I'm actually in town. There are houses right next to me. My property is actually really, really small. Just enough space to get the thing on. That's it. So there's no way that somebody won't see me doing it. Which is why when I talked to him and I said, I can't do it without anybody not spotting me. Somebody's going to get upset and wind up complaining. So that's not going to work. You have to sort it out. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so I felt like that worked out. We'll just dry that off. Hire a duck hitman. You're being really helpful. That's definitely going to work, I'm sure. A duck hitman. Okay, so we went purple, but we're not finished. I'm going to tackle some of the underneath. No, actually, I need to deal with the black. Since I've done that colour, I need to get the black in the mouth, because let's let that brush dry a little bit and try to find a brush that will get the black paint in here, because that's what I was having trouble with yesterday. I need a drink of water. That's I don't know where to put this thing. There's too many things on my desk. So yesterday was a busy day for me. I talked to my brother and asked him what I needed to do to sort of upgrade the channel, and he's given me some advice, and I'm hoping that's going to mean probably an increase in the quality of sound, because sound seems to be a really big issue for my channel. It's because I'm in a small office. It's a really small office. The sound doesn't travel well, and therefore I wind up with lots of problems. So I had a discussion about how to sort that out, rather than covering my walls with egg cartons, which was, mildly amusing, but probably not going to be as effective as other techniques. Certainly it's cheaper, but I may have to just cough up the money and deal with it. Apparently, I've got a property over in Australia which we've only just sort of got sorted out, and now fire breaks are required. We've only just been informed of it, and suddenly there's talk of having to cut fire breaks, and I'm like, isn't it like the wet season over there? Why the heck do they need fire breaks done right this very second? It seems a little bit odd. Anyway, sit down. I understand that emus are disgruntled by nature. Perhaps you could borrow one for a few days and the duck problem would be solved. Where am I going to get an emu? They're not something you get in New Zealand. I know there are some places who have emus, but they're not like a cheap. Oh, can I just borrow it? Burb on a burb violence. Bird on a bird violence. Ah. So there was supposed to be a D, wasn't it? Or not a B. Not burb. It's bird. I got it. Understood. The D must be not working on the keyboard. Or you're focusing on work because you shouldn't be listening to me. Okay, so yes. So Sam had a good discussion with me about all that. And I've been cleaning up my office so I can shoot a video as sort of a walk around and have a look what it's like. So that's sort of been on my plate as well. What's that, Matt? That's so you don't get urban fires. They happen here where I live. Yeah, but the property that we're talking about is in the middle of nowhere. It's Dundee Beach. There's nothing there. It's like near the sea. So it's not actually that far from the sea. It's actually very, very close. I understand what the fire break, but it's just that they required it to be done by the 1st of June, and it only showed up yesterday, which was the 10th of June. It's like, what the heck? There's a thing called email. Did they not have an email address that they could just email it? They had a postal address, but not an email address. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Who sends something that's supposed to be as important as that with must be corrected in 72 hours and sends it by snail mail? Well, that ain't going to work. It's a little bit ridiculous. Anyway, I'm still trying to get this black in here. It is not going in. It just wiggle it around a little bit. And wiggle it around. Oh, also, for those of you who have been encouraging me to do it and get myself organized, I launched Patreon today. Yep, just about half an hour ago, might have even been less time than that, Patreon went live for HowtoDandD. And what have I put up there? I haven't put very much up. I've only just launched it, so it's got the artwork that Sam did the other day of the gold dragon, and with the top hat and the dice. That's up there, and I am just looking through my sort of files. Thank you, Matt. It is cool. I was really reluctant to do it, but anyway. It's done. It is a done deal. And I was looking through my archives of video content that I have just not wanted to bother editing, and I was trying to see if there's something that would be really good for the the Patreon page. And oops, okay, I'm going to just water this down. This brush is just going to pieces on me already. Just won't get in there. If I can maybe just drop it in a little bit. What brush would be the best way to go? So yes, I found some stuff on the monk, and there's a lot of my sort of personal exploration of New Zealand, you might say. I suppose I can put that up as well, since I said I would. And I'm just trying to get my head around the whole process of sharing stuff on Patreon. I got used to doing YouTube, but I haven't really had to do that. What's that, F Hubba? The dragon will look good on t-shirt. Yeah, I don't think that's not the final dragon picture though. I think we will actually do something else with it. I think the dice definitely needs to be larger rather than as small as it is. And that's going to take a little bit of time. Since I know my brother is also busy with other things, trying to make his money to live off. So I can't interfere with his stuff too much. Okay, so let's just clean it off. But yeah, apparently, is it Teespring? You can set up t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. So I thought that would be quite a cool idea. Oh, and yeah, I didn't realize I had a whole bunch of videos on the monk sitting around that were partially done. In the future, you should paint a monk. I suppose I could paint a monk, Matt. I don't know if there's much point. Is there really much point in me painting a monk? I don't actually have a monk miniature. Anyway. Oh, you mean get my brother to paint a monk? Yes, I see where you're going with this. Aha. But to be honest, I am not convinced that drawing a monk would be the something that people would be that interested in. I feel like monster t-shirts are much more interesting. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to do a poll and ask if people had access to art on t-shirts. What sort of things? Is it monsters? Is it player characters? Is it what? What are the things that make them sort of excited? Okay. I'm going to leave the mouth alone because I've tried to get paint in there that's black and it's partly done and I've made a little bit of a mess, but we'll live with it. What's that, Darren? Can't find you on Patreon, Fred. Okay, so I need to make sure I put the link down in the video. So I'll do that, Darren. I'll make sure I put a link down in this video. Since I would have put it in, but it only just got launched like minutes ago. Okay, so next, let's go with this underdark indigo. I'm going to go with that color. I feel like that's got potential, so let's grab that as our next. Just swizzle this around. I'm just trying to decide where I'm going to which location will it sit in. Dear. Okay, so and also where I'm going to put the paint. I think that is the next issue, is deciding roughly where is it that I really want to have the paint sitting. Okay, so let's start with that. I am going to go big brush. I'm going to go quite aggressive. Joe, how's it going? Working right now. Finally got a chance to sit down and watch somebody painting a beholder. Much more interesting than work. Well, that's good. I don't know that I have done an awful lot of painting so far, but I'm going big brush, so there's going to be lots of color going on today. So if you were hoping to see some action, I don't know if it's really good action, but there'll be some action. Okay, so now I need to have a plan about how I'm going to do this. It needs to look unusual, right? So we'll go through there. And I'm just going to pick out locations to put the paint on. And this is going to be very, very awkward. I can see it now. Okay, so, and then it's probably a bit too much there. And then what do we do? Let's go with the some of the stalks. So I'm feeling like I should do sort of under areas with a darker one. Who knows if this is going to look any good in the end. It'll certainly look very unusual. and it'll definitely need to be washed in some way. If Hubba, planning is cheating. Planning is cheating. That's coming from somebody who believes in planning. Really? You telling me that? I know you do. I know you're a planner. I used to be a planner too. I am still mostly a planner, but there are certain things I don't worry about planning nowadays. It causes me far too much stress. Anyway, let's just get the paint on. I don't want to paint everything blue because that will just make it too odd. And let's... Okay, that's undersurface, 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 undersurface. Don't know if I can get in there. I'm going to try. Yeah. And then anywhere where it's sort of... I used to have a shirt that was purple and blue, and it used to change colour in the light, and I guess that's what was popping through my mind when I saw the beholder yesterday, and I was like, it needs to be something that sort of shifts, like you can't quite make out all the colours. Anyway, so that's that done, so I'll clean that off. Beholders are supposed to look unusual. Yes, I suppose I hadn't really fully understood that. I knew I had a feeling that was the way to go, but I didn't follow through. Anyway, beside the point now. Let's just get the job done. Let's get it all cleaned up. And then get the basic colours sort of sorted out. Okay, so next. So that was, I don't think I'm going to use any more of that. So that was the underdark indigo. So we'll put that all out of the way. Let's go with another colour. Oh, actually, I just remembered. Yeah, I have this. Now, how different in colour tone is it? It is actually another colour of. This is a blue. This is actually Citadel blue. This is a kantor blue. I'm going to use kantor blue because it's another quite a dark one. I'm going to give it a good hard shake. I'm going to use that. I'm going to apply it sort of roughly over the miniature so that there's a lot of different shades going on. So this is a dark colour again. So I'm going to go with the sides rather than the top. Pardon me, that was a bit of gas. Oh, my phone's gone. Sorry, hang on. Hello, Fred speaking. I'm doing fine, thanks. I'm a little bit busy, but what's this regarding? Sorry, by the way. Ah, right, yes. How about just after 2:30? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, bye. Sorry about that. That was a job interview. No, I can't put them on speakerphone. They're going to call me back. That's not the alarm. It's not the alarm. It's not like that. Anyway, so that's good. So they'll call me back, and we'll see what that sort of comes out. What comes out of that? That job that is a really difficult task. It is a much more difficult task than I've probably ever done before. So it'll be a hard job to get, but kind of interesting that I got a response so quickly. All right, so what's that? What's that, Darren? I'm not supposed to hear that for hours. Right. The phone ringing. Okay, so this. Let's just see how this is going to work. Okay, so I'm not too sure how blue This is a very dark blue, so I need to paint it in a different location other than the other one, and I don't want to get rid of all the purple. So we'll just pick and choose locations, and I think there, like that, and then big and broad, big and broad. This is a feels like an unusual process. I don't honestly know what it's going to look like at the end, but we'll certainly find out. Okay, sorry if I've moved the camera. I'm moving the miniature too far away from the camera, aren't I? And so what do we do here? Yes. Okay, so that's going to be a bit tricky. We'll get in there. We will get in there eventually, but not just yet. And darker colours down the bottom. Boop, 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 boop. God. I feel like all of the parts should have been painted before it was assembled, because it's just difficult to get at everything. Okay, and then I'll just go along the base area more so that there's more darker at this end rather than the other side. Okay. Okay. Oh, I was watching, does anybody remember Drunkens and Dragons, now called Runehammer? And I was watching his stuff on room design, which I always really enjoyed, although they were very long, and he was quite comical about the whole process, which was fine. I don't have an issue with that at all. But I thought it was interesting that it's one of those things that I kind of would have liked to have seen it continue, but it didn't. And I was also thinking, somebody had mentioned to me about how I could put together something that was sort of showing how to run combat that isn't just about just, you know, defeating a monster, that has objectives involved. And I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I think I might have a way of making that work. No, just leave that alone. I'm going to go back over here. Okay. All right. Let's ditch that colour. I feel like there's enough going on there as it is. Like the purple and blue, it works. Okay, thank you, Matt. I'm sure that Joe and Joe and Darren will let me know if I'm doing all right or not. I find when I paint too many hours straight, my neck starts tightening. Yep, from leaning over the magnifying glass. I can believe that. Yep, absolutely. Okay, so that's that blue. I want a lighter blue because at some point I want to sort of, because I was looking at the miniature and I was looking at the painting and I was like, I feel like the front section is the lighter section and the stalks would probably be a lighter color. So we're going to go with frost blue. I don't know how well that's going to work, but we'll see. Matt, I unsubscribed. I unsubscribe. He changed everything. His Moloch video is super good though. Yeah. I know a lot of people did unsubscribe because the content changed so much, and he runs a business now, so the channel itself is not as important. You know, I suppose there's only so long you can actually do that before, if it can't make money, you have to sort of get on with the nature of living, and that's probably where he's at. But yeah, that's what was popping through my mind, and I was thinking that it would be one of the easiest ways to sort of show people how to do that is to set up encounters that exist in pre-made adventures, because pre-made adventures are things that, particularly if they're popular, are things that are used by lots of people, right? See, this is the problem, is if it's not really something that is commonly going to commonly come across, nobody probably ever built Hank's dungeon rooms, right? So it has to be something that people would have access to because they are running that sort of game. And I thought, well, actually, I can probably do something like that. I could pick the sort of the major boss fight situations, and that can be the, all right, there we go, that can be the focus. And then instead of it being set up to just be the players get killed or the monsters get killed, it'll be a different focus, and that would be probably more useful. And I'm not necessarily too sure if it would be that difficult to do. So I'll have a go and see what it's like. If it's really time consuming, that's always a problem. But if it's not time consuming, then yeah, maybe that's something I can do, and people would be able to sort of incorporate that. And for those people who don't run pre-made adventures, at least they'd get a sort of an idea of how to do it, if I do it a couple of different ways. Because I always found those were the fight scenes or the climax scenes that were most successful. The ones that really light. Those were the ones that really stood out. That's just my idea anyway. So what's that? You unsubscribed for the same reason, Darren? Okay. Tasty Basie. Fred, your videos on Lost Mine of Fandelver are seriously so helpful for the first time DM. I know people love them, yes. I've been digging through your Lost Mine of Fandelver playlist today while redrawing the map of Red Brand Hideout. Great stuff. Oh, good. That's excellent. That's what I want to hear. I've got a bit of competition now. I've noticed there's a few people who have decided that it's a good idea to make videos on the Lost Mine of Fandelver, so I've got a bit of competition. And interesting too, they've got some interesting takes on it as well, so it's not like it isn't going to be useful for people. It certainly seems like there's a lot of people making stuff that'll be really useful. See, there's the thing, right, is you've always got to be moving forward with some new idea. There was a time when I was pretty much the only one making videos on game rules for Dungeons & Dragons. Now, Handbook a Helper is pretty much owning it. And I've noticed that is it Jordan's making videos on a lot of the pre-made adventures, not necessarily adventures he's run, on the sort of the lore of them, which is smart. This is often a topic that people look for, right? So very, very smart. Okay, so that is that one. I'm going to just work on each stalk until I'm happy with it. And then we'll go here. It's working out fine. I'm going with a heavier on the stalks with this stuff than anything else, but you should still be able to see some of the purple and the other colors coming through. Okay, so that's that one. Hang on, give me a second. I just need a drink of water. What's that, Matt? Another YouTube channel I watch had not made a video in 2 months. He did an update video for June. He said he almost died. Oh dear. And had to have surgery. Well, that sounds terrible. Ever heard, what's that, Tasty Basey? Ever heard that your face kinda resembles a young Sean Austin? No, not really. I've been compared to many things, but not that one. That'll be a first time for me. Very, very first time. I think somebody commented that I sounded like Murray from the Concord, so I never watched the Concord, so I know I'm from New Zealand, but I never bothered watching it. Anyway, getting away from the topic at hand, which is get the paint on the miniature. And I'm going to just... Okay, so now more paint. More of this frost blue. He's who played Sam Ganges in Lord of the Rings. And he was also in Goonies. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. What's that, Matt? Just my opinion. I can't stand those Handbook of Helper videos. Okay. Well, you might not like them, but trust me, there's a lot of people who do. And, you know, considering some of the topics they've covered, they're doing pretty well. Some very, very complicated topics. Leveling up is something, for example, I won't touch leveling up with a 10-foot pole because there's no way I can talk about leveling up a character in Dungeons and Dragons and spend like just one video explaining the process, because it's not that simple. And multi-classing, yeah, well, one video will just not cut it. It is just too difficult. Hang on, it's just me. Yeah, that's more like it. It's trying to get the right sort of direction, I guess, on my my brush. Here we go. Yep. What was it? Somebody had actually mentioned to me, they were asking me the other day, what do I do about, what information do I give the players when I'm starting the Lost Mine of Phandelver? Do I tell them about the background stuff? And I was like, okay. I didn't realize I might have to make a video that is stripped back that much. But I had contemplated doing it, I just haven't done it. I just wasn't too sure that it was going to be necessary. Which is why I just made the, what was it, goblin, is it goblin arrows, or I did a video on just the first encounter for the very first part, and I thought that was going to be sufficient. Anyway. La da 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 da. So okay, and then one more. It's okay, what am I looking at? Okay, so I don't know if you can tell, but it's more blue on the front than it is purple, and I've kind of done that deliberately. Just go with just a light shady daddy down there. And if I can just make some of the transitions not quite so aggressive. I feel like a wash is going to probably sort most of that out, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, alright, so that's that sorted out. Anyone from New Zealand sound like Murray? My father's name was Murray, but he is gone now. What's that, Matt? Digital Dungeon Master, yes. The Digital Dungeon Master, David, he did a lot of videos on game rules. I do remember that. It's been a sad time because I've watched a lot of the channels that I used to watch quite regularly just shrink as they struggle to survive in the new environment, because there's so many different channels now. Okay, hang on, let me just grab that. I was trying to figure out if I could get like a green screen in this office, and my brother said even if you could get a green screen, you could never get the lights into your office to actually light the green screen, so don't even bother. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense then. And he said, you're not just got to light yourself, you've got to light the green screen. I was like, it's good to know. I wasn't aware. Okay, so I'm going to be using this ghostly blue to go over everything sort of really lightly in an attempt to sort of highlight a little bit. What's the first game I GM'd? The first game I GM'd, are you talking to me or are you talking to somebody else? If you're talking to me, the first one I ever DM'd or GM'd was 2nd edition Dungeons and Dragons, but I didn't really use all the rules. We just used bits of it. It was so complicated. So I didn't really sort of, the first time I really seriously took on the role as Dungeon Master or Game Master was Star Wars Saga, the roleplay game. That was probably the very first time that I took on the role in a manner that was kind of in an attempt to be quite good at it. I tell you, man, I botched that up so badly. I had 26 pages of prepared material because, of course, I followed what everybody had told me I was supposed to do. And what was the result? Disaster. Didn't work. Wound up with a whole lot of material that I could never use because I spent way too much time worrying about those sorts of things when I should have been focusing on other things. And therefore, yep, hours and hours of work went down the gurgler because they just went up and did something else, didn't they? Well, what are you going to do? Stick them in the Star Wars universe where there's galaxies everywhere and they can just get in a spaceship and fly off somewhere? Whoa, what are they going to do? They're going to go and do who knows what. That's like the worst. That is the hardest one to deal with when it comes to roleplay games, is something set in the future with science fiction and spaceships where they can just literally just go wherever they like because that's exactly what they wind up doing. Is they'll just take a trip and say, oh, we're going to go over here, and you're like, oh, I have nothing for that. So that was sort of my first taste of having to learn how to improvise. I don't think I did a very good job. Not the first time round. He's cool. He is shrinking like Fred said. Yeah, that's right. It's not just the Digital Dungeon Master. It's Nerd Immersion. They're not really, DM Johnny has changed his channel name a few times, but he's sort of disappearing as well, unfortunately. I've still subscribed to a lot of those channels because they still make content, but they're not watched by anybody. Who is it? The Dungeon Dudes have become incredibly popular. Dungeon Dad is just holding his own. but he's not moving anywhere. He's just sort of stuck a little bit, but you know, he's reasonably consistent, so there's a good hope that he'll make it through whatever happens in the future. So I am just going to use this color on the stalks near the top, and I'm not even going to bother turning the miniature. I'm just going to assume that, like, this is the light hitting it from one angle, and I'm just going to go through and do that like so. So this should be fairly quick, this process. Oh, I've been enjoying watching Geek and Sundry's painting. That's certainly, and I was watching a whole bunch of videos, trying to watch a whole bunch of videos on how to paint a beholder, because as you guys know, I need all the help I can get. Anyway, certainly it was interesting. Okay, so this. Okay, alright, so, and light's hitting it from the top and from the front, so I'm just going to go really quick in the front, kind of really aggressive. No, in the front, in the front, in the front, in the front. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so I'm getting rid of that. Oh, I've gotten a bit behind on the live chat there. You guys have been chatting away very quickly. Okay, so just give me a second. I'm just going to turn this way so you can at least see what's going on. And what have we got here? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where I last got up to. Oh, there we go. I was thinking of getting a green screen myself, Fred. Had it in my cart for a long time on Amazon. Yeah, but the problem is, my brother was pointing out that a green screen, Darren, is going to mean you need to have lighting to be able to light the green screen, which means you need to have a good bit of space to store these lamps, and I don't. So what I'm doing is I'm buying wool tapestries that have just got stuff on them that I feel like I'll reuse. So wool tapestries just make it a little bit easier. I can have a background without having to worry quite so much. Oh, the background won't change an awful lot. It'll be pretty much this, just a couple of backgrounds and that's it. But a lot less space, a lot less expense. It's going to cost me a fraction of the cost of having a green screen. Okay, so now, where are we? I think I was on, no, that's not it. Otyugh brown. Yep, that's not a good thing. Just jammed it into my paint palette. Let's just have a look at that mouth. Okay, I feel like the black is in there. We'll deal with the otyugh. And I probably need to go back to the Averland sunset and just deal with around where all the black is. So I'll do that now. How's it going, Aaron? Now, where are we? Brush type. No, it needs to be that one there. Okay. Oh, I'm using up paper towels like you wouldn't believe today. Okay, so those two colours I'm going to use in a second. This I need to turn around. Whoops, knocking things over. Left, right, and centre. And let's see what this is like. Okay, so. Oh, okay, I don't even have to water it down. Really? Alright, fine. And I'll just go back over this area here. And just touch up some of the areas that I messed up. Okay, what game that you GM'd did you feel like you got your groove? Do you know, I can't think of a time. I couldn't tell you like a specific time when I suddenly found like I had my groove. it doesn't really work like that, eh? When you finally figure things out, it sort of just happens, and you can't really nail it down to a particular time. That's certainly what it was like for me. It's not like oh, I've figured things out now, I'm all right. I just kept doing things. And look, to be fair, you know, I've run games and not so long ago, and like a year ago, and sometimes I feel like I'm totally out of my depth. You show up, you know, you've been working all day, and suddenly you got to run an entertaining game for people, and you just don't feel like you've got anything left, and you really sort of you lean on the players, right? That's what I used to do. Is I would lean on the players and let them do the work, rather than try to do everything myself and take ownership for everything that was going on at the table. I think that's part of the problem, is sort of a lot of people sort of assume they must take on all the responsibility of everything that happens at the game table because they are the dungeon master. Because, you know, bad games only happen because dungeon masters aren't doing their prime job properly. Well, that's just nonsense, actually. You can have a really good dungeon master, and if the players aren't pulling it together, then it's not going to work out. That's my view anyway. I could be wrong. DMG Info, yeah, I do watch his channel. Yes, I know he watches my channel too. He doesn't have a lot of time, but he does occasionally watch some of my stuff, yes. See, there's another example of a really good channel, which is sort of, you know, he was really, really big at one point, and it sort of, through a number of problems, things just didn't work out, and he's had to rebuild, and it's never really recovered, to be honest. And his content was good stuff, right? And now he's got another channel that he shares with DM Scotty from the craft channel. And when I say the craft channel, like the craft channel, because let's get real, his channel is the crafting channel. It is the one that everybody else aspires to, even if he isn't full-time. And I know there are some channels that are full-time, but, you know. Okay, so... and I was going to try to figure out how to do some transitioning here, but then I was looking at it, I was like, do I need to really worry about that sort of thing? Is it really going to matter? Is it really going to matter? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. All right. So that's that bit. All right. Let's just clean out that brush. If mic is more important than camera, your cell phone has better camera resolution than what is needed to stream. Well, yes, that's true. That's true. Sound is always the biggest issue. Thank you, Aaron. It is sort of coming along, eh? Yes, you're late, but you made it. Yes, you did. It's all right. I'll be back eventually. What's that? FHubber, my low quality ISP. I have to watch it. Was it 360p or low resolution to easily tolerate a fuzzy image? Then mess up the audio. Oh, okay. Green screen, cloth, closed die, and a sheet. Well, yes, you can, but that's not the issue. It's the lighting. That's the issue. Okay, so now let me just have a quick think about what I'm doing here, because I need to get the color right around where the eyelids are, and I feel like I'm at a point now where I probably should start tackling the eyes. But to do that, what am I going to do about that? No, I'm going to take this around the eyeball. I need to get closer in, right? Because there's a little bit that I just haven't painted. So I'll paint that now. And then let's just see what's this moving like. A little bit of water. Too thin, too thin, too thin, too thin. Where is that piece of paper? Too thin. And try now. Okay, let's see if this works. So we're just going to go in here and just clean up around the eye. How close do I want to go? I want to go right in, don't I? Right in there. Get it in the little gaps, get it in the gaps. And this is where I need to be a little bit more careful. And it's not going to happen with this brush, so I'm going to need to ditch this brush and go to a different brush. So I'll do that right now. Yeah, Darren, yep, I used my phone for a lot of my video shoots. I also used somebody else's camera for a lot of the stuff that I was shooting. It was kind of really helpful when somebody else lends you a camera. The camera that I have, the webcam, I did buy. Because I had to decide whether a webcam was the right choice or a higher end camera, because I've got a Canon camera. And in the end I decided, well, actually most of it is going to be live streamed, because I knew that was the only way I could cope. And I also knew that a whole bunch of people would probably be very upset. But I have found it interesting that a lot of people who watch the edited version of the live streams, now a lot of my live streams are pretty good, and once you cut the front and the back, they are not the wiser that it was in fact a live stream that they've just watched that was cut down. So you can do it with anything. Okay, so and okay, I'm just going to concentrate for a second and just get this little bit around the eyeball sorted out, and then okay, I feel like that's sort of done. A little bit of paint there. A little bit of paint there. Okay, it's not too bad. I'm reasonably happy with that. Alright, so clean that off. Hang on, let me just unblock that. I'll show that. I don't know why it's decided to consider it a bad thing. Is the word cat something you can't put on YouTube? Who knows? Who knows? If I remember a car dealer who apparently wore a green tie down his commercials. He could see the cars through his tie. There is also a certain shade of blue that does the same. Okay. You'll be here all night. I won't be here all night. What's that, Matt? I was doing Isle of Dread. Okay, cool. So I like that adventure. I made a random encounter pirate cleric with a skeleton crew with black powder rifles. I thought it would. It went horribly wrong, but after the session, everybody told me it was great. Well, because you did something that was different. That's the thing, eh? Matt, I knew I had arrived. Sweating bullets that day. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. When you do something different, you're always sweating because you don't know if it's going to come off. If I made my beholder eye have a slit pupil like a cat, different color irises for each eye. Yes, that's probably where I'm going. You had a handy. You're a handy guy. You could use some marcelin green paint from the hardware store and paint MDF. Now, I'm not worrying about a green screen. I've got some tapestries on their way. I don't know when they'll show up. It's coming to New Zealand, so it'll probably take forever. Anyone else put in an application for MCDM Productions for their campaign setting? No, I didn't realise they had that going. Okay, so where am I? I am probably going to just tackle around the mouth a little bit more because it's still a little bit dark. And we'll just apply, this brush is too small now. Unless I do just the edge around there with this. So I suppose I could do that first. So just edge first, Fred. And then grab the bigger brush. Is this going to work? Yeah, I feel like it is. I'm going to go for a lighter color eventually once this is on. And this is a bit thick, so we'll just lighten it up, thin it down. There we go. Okay. All right, okay, cool. All right, look, I am probably going to leave it there, and tomorrow it's teeth and eyes, because that call is probably going to come back very shortly for that job, and I'd love to sit around and talk and paint for longer, but I probably shouldn't, and I need to get some videos organized for the Patreon page that I just launched today, so I need to get some videos up there that you guys can watch if you wanna be a part of that. Yeah, thank you, Aaron. Yeah, I do. I really hope the call works out. So yes, I'll do my normal thing. You know what it is. Let's just at least give you a decent view of what's happened so far. So we're heading closer towards the end goal, and I have every bit of faith that I feel like it's going to work out now. I really do feel like that the blues and the purples are the right choice in this case, which I wasn't so sure about before, but now I am. So if you like this, you know, I have lots of other videos on painting, so you're welcome to go and check those out. And videos for Dungeons and Dragons, players and Dungeon Masters, there's hundreds of those things. So by all means, go and check them out. I have a Patreon page now, so you can go and check me out on Patreon. If you can't find it, I will make sure to put it in the About section of the YouTube channel and down in the description for this video very, very shortly. I also have affiliate links down in the description, and you should find in the description all of the materials and paints that I used for today, and I'll make sure I update that if it's not there. So yes, the affiliate links are for the book depository and Amazon. Now share, like and subscribe, hit the bell button to be notified when I go live and when I publish new videos, and if you're very lucky, YouTube might let you know when I am live and when I have published new videos, but there's no guarantee, and hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s.